Hello again. Number 6, John Flavel, Christians in Adversity, how to keep and guard our heart and keep our minds right and our faith strong in the Lord. Remember, in times of adversity or difficulty, number 6 is this then. It'll greatly help you to remember that God says, don't worry. Don't worry. Listen to what the Puritan says. It would much lead to the settlement of your heart to consider that by fretting or worrying and discontent, you do yourself more injury than all the afflictions do. Your own discontent is that which arms your troubles with a sting. You, by worrying, are making your burden heavy by struggling under it. If you but did lie quietly under the hand of God, your condition would be much more easy than it is. Impatience in the sick occasions severity in the physician, the doctor. You know that's true, don't you? If the doctor is trying to treat a patient and they start getting cross and complaining and getting on, the doctor will become more severe. So God is our spiritual doctor. And he's doing these things, and if we don't be receptive to it, we'll force him to be more severe with us so that we learn a lesson. Impatience in the sick occasions more severity in the doctor. And this makes God afflict us more. As a father, a stubborn child that receives not correction. Beside, it unfits the soul to pray over its troubles, or receive the sense that good, or receive the sense of that good which God intends by them. Affliction is a pill, says the Puritan, which, being wrapped in patience and quiet submission, may easily be swallowed. But discontent chews the pill or the tablet, and so embitters the soul. God, during this time of affliction, God has taken away, he throws away some comfort which he saw would hurt us. And then when God does that, what do? The Puritan says, and we throw away our peace after the comfort that we've lost. God wounds us to restrain us. It was never intended to hurt, but only to drive us away from sin. But we thrust our wound even deeper to the piercing of our very heart and soul by despondency, discontent, and worry. God says, don't worry. See, in Matthew chapter 6, which is part of the Sermon on the Mount, from verse 25 onwards, Jesus devotes quite a number of verses telling Christians, do not be anxious, don't worry. It's not the favourite part in the Bible for snowflakes, because they like to think that their worrying's automatic and it's justifiable and so on. But listen to what Jesus says to believers. Therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what you shall eat, or what you shall drink, nor yet what you shall, for the body, what you shall put on. Is not life more than food, and the body more than raiment or clothes? Jesus, in that whole section, which by the way he devotes, it's the second most important subject in the Sermon on the Mount. The only thing that he devotes more verses to in the sermon is prayer. The second thing is don't worry. And when Jesus says take no thought, that is a Greek word, and it's a present active imperative, which means presently, actively, every day, imperative. Jesus is commanding us. It's a command of God to Christians Don't worry. Take no thought means take no anxious thought. Don't worry. Don't be troubled about tomorrow and so on. Don't worry, it's a command. Now, I'm not going to do the whole section. I just want to give an illustration of why we shouldn't worry as Christians that Jesus gives in the passage. He said, don't worry, Christian, for 2 reasons. When you're in trouble, don't worry for 2 reasons. Number 1, he says, look at the wee birds. Look at the grass in the field, the flowers. God, your heavenly Father, feeds the birds and he clothes the grass of the field. And Jesus says in both occasions, in the same passage, and if God, your Father, cares about little birds and the grass of the field, how much more valuable are you, Christian, than a wee sparrow? Much more. So don't worry. Jesus says in the Sermon on the Mount, he not only says it, he commands it. And the first reason is because you are valuable to God as a Christian. More valuable than grass, more valuable than sparrows. Don't worry, because you're valuable. The second reason the Lord gives is found in verse 27 of Matthew 6. He says, which of you by taking thought, the same Greek word, by being worried or anxious, which of you by being worried or anxious can add 1 cubit to your height? If tonight I went to bed and thought, I'm really worried, I'm only 5'7.25". And I was worried all night and wanting to be taller. And I kept myself awake all night being anxious and worried and having nightmares even. When I woke up in the morning, what height would it be? 5'7.25". What would all my worrying have done? That's what Jesus is saying. Which of you by worrying can make yourself taller? No one. Your worrying, my worrying all night would have accomplished nothing. It would have changed nothing. Worrying changes nothing about your problem. Worrying doesn't change anything in reality. So worrying is a pointless waste of time. Jesus says, don't worry, Christian, because firstly, you are valuable to God, more valuable than sparrows and grass. And secondly, your worrying changes absolutely nothing. If you don't like going to the dentist and you found out after the lockdown you have to go to the dentist in a week or two's time, if you spend the whole time of that week or two before the appointment worrying and being anxious, it'll come to the day when you have to go to the dentist, and you'll go to the dentist and he'll give you the injection and give you the filling. What difference has your worrying made? None at all. The only difference the worrying has made is this: it's ruined your life for a week or two up until the appointment, but it hasn't made any difference to reality at all. The filling is no less painful. You still have to go to the dentist. Worrying makes no difference to reality at all. God commands us not to worry, even in difficulty. Worrying is logically invalid. It is philosophically irrational. It doesn't make sense. Doesn't. Especially for a Christian. Now you may say, oh, but I'm only human. We all tend to worry. I know, I'm human too. We're all human. But Jesus commands us not to worry. And worry is nothing but a feeling. And our feelings are not to control us, but we are to be in charge of and control our feelings. So, in this situation, don't worry. Take comfort in the fact that Jesus commands you not to worry. He's not commanding something that's impossible. He's commanding something we can do. Do not worry. Don't worry, because worrying makes no difference to reality at all. It just ruins your life. And secondly, don't worry, because you are precious, much more precious to God than you can ever think. And he's in control of your life. Amen. Thanks for your attention.